بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد نبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And welcome all of you, wherever you are. I welcome you again with the second lecture part of the Fatwa Life that comes to you Monday, the 1st of December, from the Medical Center Islamic Society. The first question: is it allowed for the husband to force his wife to wear the niqab? The answer that the cover of the face, it is a disputed matter between the scholars, and their visions is different. Some they say it's good, is it, or is it obligatory? And the thing that has to do with the best effort of the scholars, you don't have to condemn the person who take one of the opinions over the other. But we always ask people to take what is best guarding. So if the wife thinks that it is liked but not obligatory, she like to have, and she wears a hijab that covers her, then her husband cannot force her into niqab by any form, fashion, any way, form. But he could advise her, kindly, to try to encourage her, but not to force her in any form or fashion. And for her part, she is recommended to obey him, to cover for her religion, and to make him feel better, unless there is any hardship. And the Amja decision about the different times and places and its effect on the custody, the husband is obligated to take care of the family and do what is best for its interest, meaning to guard, not to oppress and attack. And it has two reasons, because Allah Azza wa Jal, He said, because of what Allah Azza wa Jal has preferred some on others and what they have spent from their money. And the husband had to be wise, had to be just, he had to be fair. The man who is in charge, he needs to take care of his financial obligation, and she should not bring anyone to his house that he hates, and not to live without his permission, and the men not to abuse these rights, especially if the woman is sharing in the expenditure, because those who have special situations, the woman can obey her husband on the things that are not going to be hard on her, and it's the work, not in the belief. She could believe what she wants, whatever she thinks is right, whether it is ijtihad or following somebody else. But the husband needs to be obeyed in these matters, to so harmony and kindness will be stay in the family. And the husband should not be stubborn on the matters that are disputed, because to keep the family together is better than to go on the disputed matter. If the wife is between the choice of what is preferred or what is liked, and her choice is not going to waste any of his rights or harm him, and she could obey him in anything beyond that. But and husband need to be fair and just, and to be stressed on all their rights, especially when it comes to divorce. And in the time when the affliction is very wide, we have to look into this custody and the to make sure it does not go to destroy the family, because the person who is uh, smart, he will give up some of his rights so he could have the whole thing. The second question is about a woman who have her period and wants to ask the prayers of istikhara, and she is cannot supposed to have any prayers. She has the problem. She wants to have istikhara. How does she do that when she has her period? So the answer, if it is that you want the istikhara, which you can't delay, I think you need to wait until you are pure. And then you make the istikhara of 2 rak'ahs, that's not obligatory, and then the dua of istikhara that is done. That's if you can delay the matter. But if it's not because you're traveling, you have an appointment, an opportunity that cannot be come again. So you can do the dua without the prayers. So you could make the dua but not the prayer, because you already have the application. So you can come with what you can, which is the dua. And the dua, you don't need to be purified, because he alayhi salatu wasalam, he used to remember Allah at all times in all situations. As the saying of Aisha, that he alayhi salatu wasalam used to mention Allah. And the Prophet ﷺ always mention Allah Azza wa Jal, except like when he is in the bathroom or so on and so forth. The second question, that this is a question that came last time. I wanted to take more, looked into it. It says, I heard from the best researchers in India that you should not make the, and he alayhi salatu wasalam, you do that in the qiyam at the end of the night. Even though the Imam, he repeat the ayat 2 or 3 times. The Sunnah has indicated that it is allowed if it helps in the concentration. And the Imam Ahmad in the Musnad, he said, alayhi salatu wasalam prayed, and he started with the A. One ayah till the sun came. If you punish them, they are yourselves, and you forgive them, you are the mighty and the wise. And he kept repeating it and crying the whole night. So no burden in that. And Sheikh bin Baz was asked, he said if it is for a good intention, not to show off, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you see that your repetition of that is going to cause problems, so one of the companions, he every time he leads, he will every time he finish the reciting of, he always read "Qul huwa Allahu ahad" with everything, and he repeat it. And those who pray behind him, they know he is among the best, and they don't want somebody else to take the lead. But they had something against his repetition to that. So they mentioned that to the Prophet ﷺ. So he sent someone to ask him why. He said, "I love it." He said because it has the description of the merciful. The companions, when they realized that the competition could make people sick. The Prophet ﷺ, he did not do that in the Farida to read, and the repetition of that Imam of the Ikhlas is something that is denied. He alayhi admitted, he said, "You love him and enter the Jannah." So if you are in front of people who are following a good person in the Quran, section of the Quran, but they might, blame him on the repetition. Anyway, the matter is in the ijtihad, and you don't want to tighten the situation on someone who disagrees. The following question: in most masjids, there is no funeral. They put the corpse inside the masjid. It could be between the roads. So what is the road? If the cemetery in front of them. What is the best place to put the corpse? Would putting it in front of the prayer so they could leave in the prayers? This is something disputed. Malki said, "I hate to see the janazah in the masjid." And it is disliked if it is in the place of the Qibla. Sheikh Ali Al Qari, he mentioned that, meaning he said, this is something that is tested for the people of Mecca. So some of the scholars they allowed. You don't see anything wrong by putting the janazah in front of the people until they pray the obligation, and then they will, because the funeral is not on the graves. So, and this is what the scholars in Saudi Arabia, Ibn Baz was asked, if you have someone can bring in a funeral on Friday, will be hadith on front. He said it is very wide matter, whether it is front. And there is nothing wrong if it is put in front of the people or on the right or on the left. I don't see any contradiction. And the same thing, Ibn Uthaymeen was asked the same question. If it is in front, so they could pray the obligatory then on him, he said nothing wrong with that. If we knew, that's not going to distract them. The following question, a woman is asking, mother want to me to find a wife for her husband. They are strange. The father is dead. She had 3 kids, 2 married, and one they live in a villa. But it is all open on each other. Is there a sin if I did my best? The answer, this is from the minor mingling. That does not mean that you check. But once the isolation is finished, and to protect the, because the indulging, there is it's a general statement. Amjad, they have a statement that it is a general name, some that is allowed, some is forbidden. And between them, some is people agree on, and some it's if it is just to remember the men and women. From that, the men, uh, whenever they are outside to see the Eid, the Christmas of the Shawwal or Ramadan, they're meeting on the Mashar in Hajj, and between Sa'i and when you throw the stones. And at the time of scholars, it is open. And when the woman goes to shopping, it is allowed. And with the stressing about the importance of separation in the educational one, because that's more protecting of the values and stay away from the affliction. What if this means the both are mingling and be in each row. And from that is what's in the judges. In the sitting or the places where the men, the hadith of Rubai' ibn Muawwidh, the companions, they used to go with him in the battles. They feed. And the arrangement should be where people don't look at each other. The two sexes don't look at each other. That's a following question. Is there a hadith about the female that you have to shave her head on the seventh? Is it only for the male? This is a disputed item. The Shafi'i and Maliki, it is a sunnah for the woman just like the men. In the Shafi'i, it is recommended to shave his head on the seventh, and he will give charity gold. If not, then fidda. Fatima, the daughter of the Prophet ﷺ, and Abu Hurairah said, and the Prophet ﷺ to Fatima, when she have given birth, Al Hussein, shave his head and give charity in silver. The Hanafi, it depends on the capability of the husband. It is allowed. It's not obligatory. It's not special. So the female should not shave her private art. And the saying of the Prophet, every person, he is captured with his aqiqah. And the bent, you take care of her hair. Is it allowed buying copies of already been? And I know most of the places is very expensive. My son, in the decision of Amja about the rights of inheritance and to change of the things that are known, the rights, it's forbidden to transgress on. So what is the private registration called? But they said to when you cannot get the original copy and you're incapable to get that with this need for it, it is considered a public area. The last question. Someone make qunut in every prayer, especially in Palestine and Sudan. to make dua against the aggressors. So somebody asked him to make it on the period and the masjid in the abundance of rizq. Is that allowed or not? The answer is only for the time. What is allowed? The dua is has something to do with the because yeah, it's a lot of Islam is to make dua what is suitable. You don't say, "Oh Allah, guide me." This is not in a. There's a hadith. He used to make a dua for that special occasion. Shaykh Islam says it is allowed for a person to make qunut on the time of hardship. Um, and the person who make qunut, he needs to make dua in every calamity that helps, that is suitable for him. And there's no problem with the dua for the general Muslims. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. Is it allowed what's through what one of the scholars said that some of the companions they used to deal with the riba and the sia and there was a dispute about that ruling. The saying is the saying of the Prophet ﷺ. And riba in both ways it is forbidden unless it is the riba it's and the nisa you only have to have emergency or needed. And we know what the Prophet ﷺ has cursed and he said about them they're all the same. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.